conversion. So how to perform a currency conversion? Let's see the theoretically and let me add the system, right? So here, so how we are going to perform a currency conversion? Let's see if the client from the US, right? So there it has a branches of all over the world, right? So ultimately, the user want to see only the dollar value. They don't want to see a GBP or INR or yuan. We have a different currencies. So user do not want to see, or the manager of the company or CEO of the company, they do not want to see all these currencies, but finally they want to see only one currency in the report, which is of USD. So how we are going to perform those kind of activity here, right? So when we look at the currency conversion, so we have specific tables like TCURR and TCURV, TCURX. All these are the currency related tables. So whenever we use any schema, so if you want to go with the currency conversion, so we need to mandatorily we need to have all these tables which are related to the currencies. So first we need to replicate the schema of whatever the schema we have. So we need to mandatorily have these currencies available when we want to use a currency conversion. These are the standard SAP provided tables from where we are going to replicate from ECC system by using a SLT. If these standard tables are not available, then we will not be able to perform a currency conversion. So each table has its own values. When we look at the TCUR, which is of exchange rates, so which gives us the exchange rate. So what is the exchange rate? If you look at the so you might be knowing, right, the exchange rates. So what will today's exchange rate? If you take the dollar today, so it's something around 67.3. So this will be the exchange rate where all the data will be stored under TCURL, and each one has each specific information. So TCURV is the exchange rate types for currency translation, and TCURF is a conversion factor, and TCURN is a quotations, and TCUR is a currency decimals. So these 5 tables are mandatorily to replicate in HANA system. Then only we can go with the currency conversion. So here we have a same scenario. So if we have a multiple currency types, I want to see only with the USD. So how we are going to do this activity, right? So how we are going to look into the currency conversion? Let's get into the system and let me show you the system. Before that, I don't have access for this schema. So let me have access for this schema. Then we can go with the replicating of those tables. What is the one? TALARIS. Right. So I'm going to grant access for all these. So only replication data provisioning should be fine. Right. So where is the one? Just select the data provisioning and let's click on execute. So now I have access to replicate the tables. Now I don't need this system anymore. Let me delete it. Right. Now I have authorization to replicate the tables. So if I want to replicate the tables, just to go ahead and replicate, or we can have a load. Let me take the load. So let me select whatever the fields I want. So whatever the fields you want, TCURR and TCURC, TCURR, right, and TCURC. So we can replicate all the tables, whatever the tables you want, TCURC, TCURX and RX and RF, right? And then we have T and V, right? And V. So these are the tables. First we need to replicate. If we replicate only, then we are going to go with the currency conversion. Just click on finish. So automatically this will be added to our schema. Whatever is our schema? What is the schema name? TALARS. Let me filter. Right. So here is the schema. So automatically these tables will be available now. So let me just check. These are the currency fields, and let's take. So here let's see Where is that? Let me refresh. So it was scheduled, right? Just give me a second. Okay, so once we replicate the tables, so here now we can see the tables are replicated, right? So now if I want to see, I could see a multiple currencies. Let's see if you have a data. So if you look at the data of the table, so VBAK, when we look at the content, right? So here, so when we look at the currencies, WARK is the currency field. So we have a various list of currencies. Like if you look at the ECC system, let me log into the SAP ECC system where we have replicated the tables. So let me go log in with the system. And let's go with the SC11 and let's go with the VBAK table and display. So if you look at the currencies, right? So we have a multiple currency. Let's take CURL right? So here we have a document currency, or so we have a ST document currency, statistics currency. Like this, we have a multiple fields available, right? So let's take the document currency. Whenever we have a net value, so you can see here. So when we look at the currencies and quantities, when we go for the tab, so you can see what is the net value. We have a net value which is of measure. It has a currency of WARK. This is the currency. What type of currencies we have? Let's see in the system. And if you want to see here, let's go with the settings and go to the format fields, choose fields. Not this. One second. Go to the settings, fields for selection. So here we can select WARKS. Or let's give the description. You can see WARK. So let's select the currency. So if you want to not see the data, just you want to see A4 help, so where we can see the different currencies available here. Just click on continue. Okay, you can see here the currencies. If you click on F4 or press help, so you can see, we can see a different currencies available, right? So Afghanistan or Indian, we have a different currencies available, right? Or if you look at the display, so whenever a posting happens, so we'll be having a different currencies available. So you can see DEM, or when we come down, so we are seeing only DEM. Let's increase the size, number of records. So we'll be able to see multiple currencies. If you try to filter, so you can see in the data we have these are the currencies we have. So if you select only USD, it displays the USD. You can see the USD. Or here we have a multiple currencies available. So these are the data where we have. If you take INR, so we have a INR as a currency. So the same thing. So we can see in the data here also. So if you want to filter, we can go ahead and filter and we can see the data. So I want to convert from all multiple currencies. So I want to see the data only with the USD. So we have multiple currencies, but my client want to see only with one currency, which is of USD. So what will be the total sales? I want to see my report only with the currencies, which is of USD. Let's wait, it will open. Okay, here, so let's take the VBAK and let's create one analytical view or calculation view, whatever might be, it will be the same. So let me go ahead and create. So here we have so far replicated all the currency tables, right? And what is the schema we are looking at? TALARIS, right? Underscore SLT. Now let me go with the content. Let me create one analytical view. So let me go with our sales and just take any of the lab sub package and just I'm creating it the analytical view. Let me create either way, anywhere we can create. Let's take the calculation view. Just click on new. So let's take the cube option. Sales underscore VBAK underscore currency. Just give a meaningful technical name and description. Let it be cube, no problem. Just click on finish. Or let it be cube. And so let me have a projection here. So let me add the table which is of VBAK. And let's join two tables, no problem. VBAK and VBAP. Right, let me have VBAK table in the projection 1 and VBAP table in the projection 2. So let me select whatever the fields are required from the VBAK table. So as per my requirement, so I'm going to select whatever the fields I want and make sure you select. Let me take the NETWR which is of key measure and WRK which is of currency field. And so if you want to have a exchange rate type, so this gives a exchange rate type information. So you can also select this field. So if you require, and controlling area, that should be fine from the table 1 and VBLN and date on which record was created. And from the table 2, so this is VBAK, right? So we have selected VBAP, that's fine. So let's select here MNDT or VBLN, POSNR, material number, material entered, material group, item type, and target quantity for sale. And so that should be fine. Net we have already taken, and weight in it and volume unit we can take it. Net weight. Right, let me just check what is the net weight. It's a decimal. And volume unit, so let me remove this, and the storage location, right? So whatever the fields we want, so and net price we will take it, right? And whatever the fields we want, so you can take according to our requirement. So let me have here a union or a join. Let me take here the union, and let me map this with projection 1 with the union and projection 2 with the union. So let me select whatever the fields I want. I'm just selecting all the fields from here and just let right click. Oh. Just you can drag and drop here, right? So from projection 2, what is the projection 1? Just let me rename it so that it will be clear. Projection 1 is from a VBAK and projection 2 is from, why the system is hanging? Okay, and projection 2 is from VBAP. Let me rename it. Okay, leave it. The right click is not working, that's fine. So here we have a VBAK and the projection 2 is VBAP. Let me map the target MENDT to the MENDT and VBLN. So if you want to map with the VBLN, just right click, or the other way, just drag and drop to the VBLN. And POSNR, we don't have the same field, and let's take all the fields together and just drag and drop to the output, right? So if you find anything _1, no, right? That's fine. So if you find _1, that is indicates as a duplicate one, right? So once we are done here, right, so we can have everything to the union 1 to the aggregation. So in the aggregation, so here let's perform a currency conversion, right? In the aggregation, so we can select all the fields for output. Just right click here. Right click is not working, so I need to select it manually. I don't know why. So I'm just selecting all these things randomly. Why the right click is not working? Let me close this. Now it is working. Let me select all to output. Nothing was selected. Just click on add all to output. So all the fields were selected. Now, so I want to see, let me create a formula, and I want to see a formula which is of net amount, net value into net price. That will give my total value, and that value I need to see in the USD. So how to perform that currency conversions? Just right click, or you can perform directly to the net value directly. We can do for that also, or if you want to have a formula to be implemented, and for that you need to have a currency conversion. Either way we can do it. We can directly go to the field. Where is that NETWR? No. So you can directly create a calculated column for NETWR, and we can create it. Or if you want to have a calculation and if you want to create it, we can create it. Just click on new calculated column. Let's give as a Z net value, right? So here what we are creating, here we are creating a measure. Let me select as decimal, which I can have a 13 and 2 as a size. So what is it? It's as a measure, right? So if you want to take only with the one field, which is NETWR, we can take it. Or if you want to apply a formula, so which is a NETWR into net price, which gives us the net value. If you want to have only one field, we can also have only one field. Where is that net price, right? So I have applied a formula here. So if you want to see this as only one target currency, right? So all the exchange rates, let's see what will be the today's exchange rate. All these exchange rates or exchange types, or all this will be stored under these tables, right? So these tables are every day getting updated. What is today's exchange rate? The data gets updated in the all these currency type. Let's see TCURC. If you look at the TCURC table, if you go with the display, if you look at the content and just click on execute, so you can see this shows all the currencies. So here we have a currencies, all the currencies related information will be stored under TCURC, right? These are the currencies. And when we look at TCURC and TCURR, which stores about exchange rates. If you look at the TCURR, so this stores about the exchange rate. What is the today's exchange rate? What is the tomorrow's exchange rate? If you look at the exchange rate, what is this? GDATU, right? GDATU, what is it? Date on which? It's a date field. Date of which exchange rate is effective. So this should be the date field. And what are the things we have? Exchange rate type, from currency to currency, exchange rate, EKRS. Okay. So if you look at the data, so these will be the noted rate, exchange rates. What is all the exchange rate information? So you can see here, right? Like this, all the data will be stored here now. So if you want to perform an exchange conversion, just go to the semantics. In the semantics, just select the semantic type as what is that we are selecting. It's an amount, right? If it is of quantities, we can have a quantities. Let's select the amount, and here currency, so you can select as a fixed currency or through column. If you have a fixed currency, we can directly give as a USD. That will only displays the USD. Just select that as a column, and this is not required as of now. Just make it as conversion. And so if you want to have a fixed currency, like we can have fixed currency here, right? So you can have by default it should show. So if you want to have, it's not showing now. Okay. So if you want to take a fixed currency, we can take the currency WARK here. That's fine. And make it enable the conversion here. And here schema for which currency conversion. That means, so we have schema, right? So whatever the schema, so under that schema we have replicated the exchange rates, all the currency types, right? Just to give the schema name. So what is the schema name we are looking at? This one, TLRAS. So give the schema name. And what is the source currency? Let's take the session client. Which client we can take it? Let it be the section client. Or if you want to have a input parameter or client for currency conversion, let's select as a column. Let's take as a client as MNDT. So this gives us the client name. So which client, 800 or 100, basically the ECC system, the client name. So if you log in, so you can see the client name, right? So G800 is the client. The system will automatically take the client here. And what is the source currency? We can get the source currency from, if you want to have a fixed currency, we can have a fixed currency. Let's see if you have only one currency coming to the system, so like INR. So you want to only, the user want to see only the with the USD conversion. Those type of scenarios, we go with the fixed price. So I'm selecting here the columns. Why it is disconnecting? Okay, let's select here as a columns, and let's take the source, which is the currency WRS, right? And what is the target currency? Let me select here the fixed currency. What should be my target currency? USD. Let me select the USD. Here we have a United States dollar. And what is the exchange rate type? So we can see the exchange rates. What is the exchange rate? Let me take the M as a, so these information will have available in the system, right? And conversion date. So whatever the date we want, so we can take the date. So let's take the, let me just check it. Conversion dates, where do we get the dates? So we should get some other tables. So we can select any of the date here. Okay, let's say conversion date. So some date I have given 0601. I don't know where we have. And you can see here, just click on. If you want to have a exchange rates also, we can give the rate at the time. Just click on. So these things are star is mandatory. Just give as a star. Just click on OK. Now, finally, whatever the source currency based on the with these whatever the tables information, the data should move to only with the currency as a USD. Once we are done, we can go with the semantics. So here we are going to define the attributes and measures. So what is the measure here? Let's select these as a measure, and double key here is what this will say, and let's remaining all as a attributes. Right, the system is automatically taken the attributes and measures. I don't know, so whatever the calculation which we have created, which is of calculated column, we are able to see here. So once the semantic is done, right, so here we have some issues. Let's go with the view properties. In the properties, make it as a system client, or else we are not able to see the data. Let's see now. If you go with the validate, so we just select the attributes and measures, just go with the validate. Once the validation is done, so you can see it's completed with warnings. Let's go ahead and save and activate, and we can open data preview. Right, let me have VBLN here, and let me take NETWR here. Right, so there is no data for NETWR. Let's take the other one. Let me go with the raw data. So we are not able to see that data. Why? So we have an issue with the, so here they have added one more system, so there are multiple clients, that's why we are having issue. So if you want to see the data, so what we need to do is like just go with the view properties. I just analyzed for almost 3 to 4 days for fixing the issue. So here we have one setting. This is a system. Just come down. Default client, so just here make it as a cross client, so that we will be able to see the data, or else we are not able to see the data here. Right, so once we are done, just click on save and activate. Now go ahead and preview the data. So just I have analyzed for 4 days. I thought it was an authorization issue, but it was not an authorization. They have recently added one more system which would by making this as a cross client, that would fix my issue. So now we can go with data. Let's go with the label access as this one, and NETWR as a value axis. We can see the data. So if you want to see the NETWR, which is of